Good morning, traders. This is Shane Scott, the moderator of Newsware's Trade Talk. At Trade Talk, we're providing you with the up-to-the-minute news on the market, along with the facts, themes, and short-term trading ideas for the day ahead. Joining me today is our trading anchor, Bill Olson, who brings over 30 years of institutional trading knowledge to our program. We're going to get things started with our markets update. U.S. futures are slipping this morning, with S&P futures down 0.16%, Dow futures down 0.17%, and NASDAQ futures down 0.27%. Markets have ticked lower this morning as investors brace for a flood of earnings amid doubts about an uneven economic recovery. The yield on 10-year Treasuries have steadied before a round of auctions that will be widely watched for their potential to extend the rate surge that's shaken stocks to commodities to emerging markets this year. The U.S. sells 3, 10, and 30-year Treasuries at the start of the week. The rotation towards cyclical and small cap stocks appear to have stalled, sparking concern about the strength of the U.S. economic comeback at the start of the earnings season. Regarding the pandemic, the U.S. recovery is accelerating, while parts of Europe and South America are facing setbacks with sharp inclines in infection cases and troubled vaccine rollouts. Over in Europe, the Stock 600 index saw declines led by retailers and travel companies. A final topic to keep in mind is any pending further escalation between Russia and Ukraine, with Russia already having warned that growing violence in Ukraine could set off a broader military conflict. Bill, what are you seeing as far as market updates?
I've been watching the S&Ps all morning. They're essentially flat. They're down 0.15. They were down 0.18 earlier. So, I'm not seeing real significant volatility this morning, which, leads me to kind of think that we're going to see kind of a mixed opening today for the major indexes. As you mentioned, it's going to be a busy week. We got a ton of corporate earnings from big name banks coming out later this week. A lot of good economic data. I'm seeing some declines led by the retail and travel stocks this morning, but there's some positive movement going on in the oil and drug stocks this morning. Oil, I'm watching with a keen eye. While volatility is elevated in oil prices, you can't continue. I'm expecting these prices to continue because of the geopolitical risks that are associated with oil. As you mentioned about this Ukraine situation, that's a concern for oil. You look at the Israel-Iran shadow war, that's a concern for oil. And then you look at China and the U.S. and Taiwan. This is another concern for, that oil traders have to price in per barrel of oil. So I'm expecting oil prices and oil companies' stocks to trade a little higher this morning.
Looking at earnings to watch today, Bill, what are we seeing as far as earnings today?
Earnings season kicks off this week. It really starts off Wednesday, and you're going to see all the big banks coming out. We're also going to be hearing from Delta Airlines, PepsiCo, and United Health Group. But today it is rather light. But I did notice a few interesting things, like United Airlines. They came out with a report and a filing this morning, and they're seeing a Q1 revenue at $3.2 billion. Now, the issue here is the consensus is $3.29 billion. So expect for United Airlines to start trading lower today and continue that move lower. Important, United Airlines earnings date is April 19th. Signet Jewelers, on the other hand, that's ticker SIG, they just raised their full year 2022 revenue picture to $6 billion to $6.14 billion. Now, this is an increase from 5.8 to $6 billion, where the consensus was 5.99 billion. And they're also raising their same store sales for the same period. Their earnings date isn't until June 7th, though. So I'm not as concerned, but I am watching UAL for a short today.
Well, any insights as far as upcoming earning announcements?
Okay, we have a number of good earnings reports scheduled for later this week. All the big banks are coming out. But there's another a number of stocks that we need to keep an eye on. The retailer Fastel, that's ticker FAST, Apple, Sam, Tom. They're priced for a 4.2% gain when they release tomorrow morning. JP Morgan, they're priced for a 3.6% move when they release Wednesday morning. Lovesac, that's ticker LOVE. They're priced for a 13% move when they release Wednesday morning. That's one to watch. A couple others, I'm seeing Wells Fargo, they're priced for a 4.8% move when they release Wednesday morning. And Bed Bath & Beyond, that's ticker BBBY, boy, yellow, they're priced for a 15% move when they release Wednesday afternoon.
Moving into our economic reports, Bill, what are we seeing as far as reports today?
I'm not seeing any reports on the docket for today, but I do see that Boston Fed Bank President Eric Rosengren is going to be speaking today at 1 p.m. Eastern time.
Moving into our morning's critical insights, starting things off with one on KBR. It's ticker KBR. The company has secured a 5-year, $470 million contract from the UK Naval Defense, in which the company will be providing facilities management and dockside services at the HM Naval Base Portsmouth. In other news, Ameriprise, ticker AMP, will be acquiring EMEA asset management business from Bank of Montreal, ticker BMO, for $845 million. BMO share price is up 0.36% in pre-market. Other acquisition news, Avantor, ticker AVTR, is buying Ritter, a private manufacturer of robotic and liquid handling consumables, in an all-cash transaction for 890 million euros. In other news, Sage, ticker SAGE, and Biogen, ticker BIIB, have reported top-line results for the phase 2 study on their essential tremor treatment, which met primary endpoints. Sage's share price is up 1.04% in pre-market, while Biogen's is up 0.31%. In other news, Domino's and Neuro, a Silicon Valley startup, are launching a robotic pizza delivery in Houston this week. Select customers can place prepaid orders on the Domino's website and choose to have their pizza delivered by Neuro's R2, which is the first completely autonomous, occupantless on-road delivery vehicle with a regulatory approval from the U.S. Department of Transportation. Domino's share price is up 0.96% in pre-market on this one. And to be quite frank, I feel like this could either become something that goes very, very well for them and becomes kind of a cool novelty thing, or this can go very wrong. I don't really know. I guess we'll see. In other news, Alibaba, ticker BABA, it closed today's trading session in Hong Kong over 6.5% higher after the regulators issued a record fine of $2.8 billion for breaching anti-monopoly rules and regulations. Shares rallied as the fine marked an end to the anti-monopoly investigation that lingered over Alibaba price action in recent weeks and months. The fine represents about 4% of the company's annual revenue. The share price in New York is up 6.22% in pre-market. And lastly, for me, one on KKR, ticker KKR. The company has been shortlisted to the next stage of bidding for Rolls-Royce's sale of its ITP Aero unit. The buyout firm is competing with Bain Capital and Tower Brook Capital. Bill, what are you seeing as far as this morning's news?
Well, Shane, I break my news down into like specific alerts. I want to have my alerts set up for hot events that hit the tape. I want to have them set up for specific sectors. That way, I can react quickly. I can actually see what's going on and make decisions at a drop of a dime. I have that FANG alert. Not highly active today. I mean, Amazon, the workers in the Alabama facility overwhelmingly rejected the choice to form a union. The no votes were 71%. That, idea of Amazon workers joining a union is dead. Apple, this is kind of interesting. I see that Apple has agreed to testify before the Senate on its App Store concerns on April 21st. Also, there are rumors that Apple's facing some shortages and supply constraints for their iPad Pros. My Dow Jones 30 alert went off. I see it on Johnson & Johnson. Deliveries of their COVID-19 vaccine are likely to drop by 80% this week due to manufacturing challenges. Nothing wrong with the drug. It's manufacturing challenges. Still going to hurt J&J stock price today. Microsoft is apparently in advanced talks to buy this AI firm, Nuance Communications, for a price tag of about $16 billion. Let's see, Goldman Sachs. There's a company, Medline Industries. They apparently have just hired Goldman Sachs to explore a deal where this sale could could fetch about, what was the number, 30 billion? 30 billion, that's a big deal. It's a big number. Boeing, I see that Boeing's board is expected to consider extending the tenure of its current CEO, who hits mandatory retirement age next year. We'll have to keep an eye on that one. Some option news that I see, JD, which is JD.com, ticker JD, John David, 30-day option implied volatility is at 36. 52-week range, 36 to 63. This is, this volatility is into Alibaba being fined $2.7 billion for China, by China for antitrust. NVIDIA, that's ticker NVDA, Nancy Victor David Apple, their 30-day option implied volatility is at 33. Compare that to the 52-week range of 33 to 69. Now, this is kind of interesting because they're headed into their Investors Day today. My FDA alert, I see Pfizer and biotech are asking the FDA to expand their vaccine to children. Bristol Myers, ticker BMY, announced some positive data from their Checkmate 816 study. Lilly, the company has said that this is ticker LLY. The company has said that it has terminated a supply agreement with the U.S. government for its COVID-19 antibody drug and would now focus on selling it in combination with another therapy. I hear this news and I get a little concerned about Lilly, but I look at the stock this morning and Lilly's actually trading higher. So I'm a big fan. So up 0.52%. Let's go on to guidance. Raytheon, this is ticker RTX. On late Friday, they revised their Q1 outlook to an adjusted 87 to 90 cents per share. Previous range was 70 to 75, and the estimates out there are at 73. So this is a big increase. They're expecting sales to be above the midpoint of its previously issued guidance. You got to keep an eye on shares of Raytheon Technologies today, ticker RTX. I look at it in the pre-market, and it's up 38 cents. That's not a lot. That's about 0.5%. That one could move a little higher. Events. Let's talk about events that are happening today. NVIDIA, they have their Investors Day. It starts today at 1:00. That's ticker NVDA, Nancy Victor David Apple. Signet Jewelers, that's ticker SIG, Sam India Grace. Their Investors Day is today at 2 p.m. Rackspace, that's ticker RXT. They're going to have a virtual roundtable today entitled "What Your Cloud Strategy May Be Overlooking." This conference call starts at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And Workday, ticker WDAY, William David Apple Yellow. They're having a shareholders meeting today at 11 a.m. But here's the one I really want to talk about. There's a chip meeting going on today. Okay, the senior White House officials are going to meet with the top executives from nearly 20 major companies. These are chip manufacturers. They're going to discuss the global semiconductor shortage that has roiled the automotive markets, the automotive industry in the past couple of weeks. So we want to keep an eye on GM for the automotive. We want to keep an eye on Ford, and we want to keep an eye on the U.S. chip manufacturers. So this is going to be kind of interesting, one to watch.
Moving into our trade talk picks for today, I'm picking Alibaba, ticker BABA. The company closed today's trading session higher in Hong Kong, over 6.5% higher. Based off what we're talking about, it was a slam to get the $2.8 billion breaching anti-monopoly rules fine, but that was really something that really only represented 4% of the company's total annual revenue. So they brought in a ton, and it was just a small chip off that, and it came to an end. Like this investigation's not lingering over them anymore, so it's something that is in that sense a positive. So I think we can expect positivity for U.S. share price as well. However, this is one I would like to watch first, not necessarily get it in right at the open, but see if it can go a little bit lower, dip below the 6% mark, because I don't really think it has too much more room to move than that, maybe a little bit, but I'd like to see it go down first and try to catch it before it goes back up for midday. So I think we just got to watch it and see where we can get the gains on this one. What's your pick looking like, Bill?
Listen, Shane, Goldman Sachs, the best of breed. Their earnings are out Wednesday. This stock, I expect to start trading higher into earnings. Those earnings are going to be announced Wednesday morning. I look at the option trading revenue on Friday and it was positive. I'm seeing a 2.95 call to put ratio. Straddle is priced effectively. This stock could move $14 when on the earnings announcement. I see later today, Goldman's president and chief operating officer is scheduled to speak today at 2:15 to the Economic Club of New York. This could be something else that causes the stock to push out higher. There's an article in Barron's over the weekend saying the stock still has room to run. Goldman came out and said they were not significantly impacted from the hedge fund that blew up. I've been watching all the IPOs, and Goldman Sachs has been leading all these IPOs, and that's where they make a lot of money from. So I wouldn't be surprised if I see, shares of Goldman Sachs, move significantly higher today from this 331 level that it's trading at right now. So that's my stock of the day, Goldman Sachs, ticker GS.
Moving into what's hot off the press, this is the news that's hitting the tape as we speak that will be moving the stocks today. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. So looking at our Newswire alerts, seeing the headlines streaming in, which are the ones we should be letting traders know about, Bill?
Urban Outfitters, it's ticker URBN, under Richard Boy Nancy. They came out and they just said that Hillary Super stepped down as their chief executive officer. There's more news on this. They're replacing Hillary Super has stepped down as global CEO at Anthropology. So, there's something going on there.
Bally's, ticker BALY, has just entered into an MOU with Sinclair Broadcast Group. That's SBGI.
CVS Pharmacies, ticker Charlie Victor Sam. They just added a ton of new locations to where it's going to be administering the COVID-19 vaccines. IBM, I see IBM sees that their separation of the managed infrastructure services business is going to occur by the end of this year.
A stock alert that came in on
ticker LPTX, Larry, Paul, Tom, X-Ray. This is Leap Therapeutics. Apparently, Leap Therapeutics and Flagship Biosciences announced a partnership.
Thermo Fisher, ticker TMO. The FDA has just granted them an EUA, emergency use authorization, for high throughput COVID-19 testing. This is just a headline, but one from Bed Bath & Beyond, ticker BBBY. They're starting a new brand campaign called Home Happier.
I see Iran blames Israel for its major nuclear plant explosion. Goldman Sachs comes out and they're seeing the S&P 500 firms posting first quarter growth while maintaining investors await comments from price pressure and taxes.
There's another stock alert on Uber, ticker UBER. Shares have gained over 2% early in pre-market after announcing that gross bookings in March reached the highest monthly level in the company's history.
Apple, ticker AAPL, supply shortages could see a new larger iPad Pro being shipped later and available in limited quantities.
Other news on Alibaba, ticker BABA. Ant Group has announced an overhaul of its business in response to demands from China's government. Anything else interesting for you, Bill?
No, that's all I'm saying.
Same here, so that's going to do it for what's hot the press, but keep in mind you can receive the same breaking stories that we do simply by subscribing at newsware.com. Check us out for a free trial today. Moving into our scoreboard, talking about how our picks did from Friday, I had Tesla, ticker TSLA, which opened at $677.77 and quickly reached its high, which wasn't too high, of $680.10 for a 0.34% gain. Went back and forth a little bit, but really was just fractional before ultimately closing a fraction lower than the open. Relatively flat day, but I do believe the stock has room to move and continue to rise. It already has over $10 this morning. So, we might have got into it a little bit early, but there was still some upside and there's still actually some room to move. So I'd keep watching it. How'd your pick end up doing, Bill?
Well, I went with DraftKings on Friday. That's ticker DKNG. And all I can say is winner, winner, chicken dinner. Stock opened up at $60.88 and essentially just ran straight up from there for the next 3 hours, all the way to a high of $63.59. Stock eventually closed at $62.31. That's a 2.35% move from the opening price. Or if you want to use the high price, it's 4.45% move from the high of the day. This easily beats our expected goal of $1 to 1% a day. DraftKings, real winner, DKNG, positive move all around. I was pretty happy with it.
Nice. Well, that's going to do it for us here at Trade Talk. But traders, you know what to do. Let's get out there. Let's make some green.